Reforming our system, how to fix issues in our law enforcement. Derek Chauvin had 17 excessive force complaints before George Floyd's arrest video made its way around America. Roughly 14% of black people will experience excessive force in a street stop. Just 59% of black people see police as behaving properly during a street stop interaction, compared to the 89% of white people that believe they behave properly in the street stop interaction. 5% or more of all black people in any given police interaction will experience excessive force. Why have I told you these statistics? It's not because I have a hatred towards our law enforcement system. It's because I seek a law enforcement system that most benefits all American people. My interest in studying the state of our law enforcement stems from my junior year NHD project, in which I spoke about Rodney King and the 1992 LA riots. Unfortunately, just a few months later, George Floyd was killed and history repeated itself. My goal was simple: learn more about the many aspects of this issue, like excessive force and militarization, spread the message in an unbiased way through evidence and more, and lastly, and most importantly, find beneficial solutions that people from anywhere in the political spectrum could agree with. My project is meant to spread awareness and unify people under a solution to an issue which should not be divisive. The issues I've worked very hard to truly uncover is the issue of police brutality. Within this broad topic, I've addressed issues such as excessive force and fatal use of force, the militarization of the police through the 1033 program, and lastly, arguably the most notable issue, accountability in our law enforcement system. I find that a lack of accountability and underlying behind the scenes issue that we don't see much of is what leads to what we do see in the form of fatal or non-fatal excessive force. Again, Derek Chauvin had 17 previous complaints, which is a result of this. Additionally, I've worked diligently to uncover the issues of racial disparity in excessive force complaints and incidents, and also in fatal use of force situations. I find that racial disparity is indeed apparent, and that there are flaws such as qualified immunity and more within our law enforcement system and criminal justice system that often result in the unfair treatment of African Americans and oftentimes other marginalized communities like Native Americans. All of these are massive concerns, as has been at the forefront of racial justice movements for years, dating back to before and during the Civil Rights Movement. The recent Black Lives Matter movement is only the tip of the iceberg in the history of addressing this often overlooked problem. Our law enforcement has historically been a topic when speaking of racial injustice, and is still one of the most pressing issues we face in our nation today. As we can see here, racial disparity is apparent. As you can see, 24% of black people make up police shootings, while they only account for 12.5% of the U.S. population. Meanwhile, white people make up 46% of police shootings, however, they account for 60% of the U.S. population. Additionally, we can see massive disparities in the percentages here. In any type of contact, we can see there's a difference between 1.4% of white people compared to 3.5% of black people. Once again, in suspected of wrongdoing interactions, 10.7% of white people experience use of force, compared to 17%, and more, 5.1 to 11.3, etc. For my research, I utilized a variety of different sources ranging from the Bureau of Justice Statistics to news articles and databases. I also utilized the ACLU a lot and referenced books about racism a handful of times in my research. In my research paper, I provided details about each issue and then, most importantly, outlined a handful of solutions to the problems that I wrote about. A huge obstacle that I ran into was the reality that there is no true database to track excessive force and fatal force. And also, many incidents will never see the light of day, so stories will remain untold and statistics may not always be reliable. In terms of my interviews, as I said before, a huge aspect of my project was to help people from both sides understand and respect each other to find a common solution. I took this goal to heart. I first interviewed Mr. Berger, a former police officer in support of our law enforcement, and secondly, I interviewed Bailey Walker, a classmate of mine who was a leader in the Black Bullis Student Union. The most interesting part about conducting these two drastically different interviews was the fact that despite their differences in background and beliefs, there was a high degree of common ground, and they both felt as though the media had portrayed them differently than what they truly felt, and they just strongly desired unity when solving this issue. Also, when listing possible solutions, they respectively had different opinions, but generally agreed that community policing was very beneficial, which I'll get into later. For my experiential aspect, I plan on teaching a lesson in the American government class during the judicial system unit. I plan to focus on mediating a discussion and getting people to debate and compromise rather than have me talk for the whole period. I was able to teach a lesson to my capstone peers, and I hope to take certain aspects of this lesson and translate it into an improved lesson with focus on deliberation to the solutions of the issues I've mentioned before, since solutions are where much of the division is caused. in our country. One of the key goals in doing this project was to help find a middle ground in both understanding police brutality and in finding solutions to it. This will also be a goal of my lesson, to find compromise in this difficult conversation and discuss police brutality in a very civil way. One of the key solutions to the issues that I stated throughout my project was, of course, to raise awareness for this issue, since it has been brought to light once again over the summer. However, as I said before, the main goal of this project was to find solutions that could easily be implemented and accepted from different segments of society. It seems one of the most effective solutions is community policing, which entails working with community leaders to solve specific problems. This solution also involves officer discretion, things such as church events, and also officer bias training. The goal of the solution is to either repair or better the relationship between a department and their community. And it's been implemented in places like Camden and Cleveland, where it has been relatively received well and has had beneficial results. Additionally, part of my project has been centered around helping people understand the true meaning of defund the police. And though I did not pose this as the most viable solution, aspects of it, such as social workers working with the police, should be implemented. Use of force policy should also be nationalized rather than vary from precinct to precinct, so that instances of unreasonable use of force can lead to reform in all jurisdictions. Also, there needs to be thorough and national tracking of excessive force and fatal use of force to more easily identify certain officers and departments that repeatedly offend. This would help keep repeat offending officers from joining another department somewhere else. Lastly, qualified immunity and often unfair legal protections of officers need to be reviewed and adapted. Thank you for listening to my presentation. I hope you learned something from it.